If you want to communicate with any other person, then you need a language. If you want to connect, you want to communicate with a machine, so there is a requirement of a language, because you understand English like languages and machine understands your machine line languages. So there is a requirement of communication between two different entities, in which one understands your high level language and other one understands your low level language. So communication is very important for the machine or computer systems. So language is designed or described to a set of instructions or computations. So a computer or a system is operated by given a set of rules or instructions. You provide some instructions to perform a specific task, to perform any task. So computer works or operates on the basis of your given set of rules or instructions. And these set of rules or instructions that totally control the working of the computer. It means these instructions automate or manipulate your machines. Machine cannot itself be manipulated. So these set of rules or instructions, they are used to perform some task. So to control the computer system using these set of rules, or you can say these set of grammatical rules, that is known as a programming language. That is known as your programming language. For simple language, for your language, you have different rules and some symbols to represent that language. For computer, for a machine, to control the computer system using these sequential set of grammatical rules, it also requires some grammatical rules, some symbols to communicate with the other entity. Or you can say that a programming language is a vocabulary and a set of your grammatical rules to instruct a computer system to perform any specific task. It means it is designed to communicate, or communication used to communicate between people and the computer systems. So you can say that programming language plays very important role to control and operating a computer systems. So language, computer language is very important if you want to perform any task through a computer systems. So you required some instructions, some instruction sets. So it is very important to perform any task with the help of. What is the difference between natural language and computer language? Generally, the natural language which you use in your daily life, that has a very large vocabulary. But in computer language, we have very limited vocabulary, because computer understands only machine instructions. Machine instructions are represented in the binary form, in the binary representation form. It means it only understands your digital signals, and these digital signals are represented with the help of your binary digits. These binary digits are your 0 and 1, or you can also say low and high. So in your natural language, it has a very large vocab, but computer language have very limited vocabulary. Then languages, these are classified into three ways. So in the present scenario of your programming language, it is a very wide area, very vast area in the field of your research and engineering in day-to-day life. because the computer is involved in every field nowadays. As the involvement of the computers, your automation and your robotics in our day-to-day life, programming becomes very important. It becomes highly required to control all of them because where you are using computer systems, automation, or robotics, there is a requirement of programming. And computer is involved in every field nowadays. So programming becomes highly required to control all of them. So to control all of these systems, all of these machines, to take a desired output, we use skilled programming languages. So there is a requirement of a skilled programming languages that is very necessary. So all the computer systems, all the computer programming languages that are broadly classified into three categories. First one is your machine level language, second is your assembly level language, and third one is your high level language. There are three types of your computer languages: machine, assembly, and your high level language. First, we will discuss about your machine level language. It is also called your first generation of programming language also, your machine level language. It is the lowest level language, lowest level programming language. So machine level language consists only two conditions. Either it can be true or either it can be false. True means 1, false means 0, or that is also called as your binary language or binary representation. So computer system only understands your binary representation. So all the instructions feed into the computer system must be in the form of your 0 and 1s. So this language is understood by your computer system. So machine level language is very tough to understand by the humans. Is it not easy to understand the machine level language? It directly connects through machine, so there is no need of translator. No translation program is required in machine level language. It directly interacts with the machine. But it is not easy to learn. This language is very tough to understand by the humans. This is generally instruction format. Instruction which you give to the machine. Instruction format consists of two parts. First part is called your op code, yani operation code, and second is your address part. Op code tells the operations which you want to perform, and operand specify your location, your address, where it is stored, where it is doing the operations. So every instructions have two parts. First one is your instruction part, that is also called your op code, operation code, and next part is called your address part. Operation part, it specifies the operations to be performed. It tells that which operation is to be performed. An operand, that is also called address, where it is stored in the memory. That address location, it tells that address locations. So machine level language, it is very very tough to understand by the humans. But there are some advantages of this machine level language also, with some disadvantages. So advantage of your machine level language. So machine level languages are directly interacting with the computer systems. There is no requirement of any translator between machine because it directly interacts with the computer systems. So there is a no requirement of any software of conversation like your compiler and interpreters. These codes, these instructions are directly understood by the CPU. So no translation program is required because there is not any requirement of any translator or compiler or interpreter. So it takes very less time to execute the program because there is a no conversation take place. It is directly understandable by the machine. So these are some advantages of your machine level languages. There are some disadvantages also of your machine level language limitations, which can also you can say that limitations of machine level language because it directly connected through the machine. So there are some limitations with this. In machine level language, in machine dependent language, individual program is required for each machine. Machine dependent means for each machine there is a requirement of your individual program. So to develop a program in the machine language, it is very hard to understand and program because it is in the form of your 0 and 1. If everything is in the form of your 0 and 1, it is very hard to understand for you, for us. If any value, any string that is translated in the binary representation form, in the ESK form, in a opcode, in the coding form, that it is very hard to understand than what is written. So it is time consuming to develop a new program. It is very time consuming. It's very time consuming to develop a new program in with the help of your machine level language. And the debugging process, that is also very hard because to find any error in the 0 and 1 representations, it is also takes so much time. So debugging is also very hard in machine level language. And it is purely machine dependent. So machine language is not portable language. It is not portable language. It is because it is purely machine dependent, and for each machine, for every machine, there is an individual program required. So machine language are not portable language. Next language is your assembly language. It is also called your second generation programming language, or it is also called your middle level language. It's a middle level or second generation programming language. It contains the same instruction as machine level language, but the instructions which are given by the user and the variables that have a specific name, or the commands, the instructions which are given by you that have a very specific name in this language instead of just binary numbers, instead of your just binary representations. We have used some mnemonics, some variables, some name to these instructions. Some symbols we have used to describe these instructions, these field of instructions. These instructions, these symbols, these are called your mnemonics. To simplify the program in the writing process, the numeric operation codes of machine languages are substituted by letters, symbols. These symbols are called your mnemonics because the instructions variables have very specific name or called commands instead of just your binary numbers. We have used some symbols. So to understand the assembly language, computer must require an assembler, because this language is not directly connected to the machine. So there is a requirement of an assembler which takes a part in between your assembly language and computer system to convert the assembly instructions into machine language, into the machine instructions, because computer only understands your machine instructions. So there is a requirement of conversion from assembly language from these mnemonics to machine instructions. So this assembler is a software. This is the software or a set of programs which translates your language, which translate your assembly language programming instructions into your machine language. So in assembly language, we use mnemonics in place of your binary representation form. And for conversion of these assembly language mnemonics, there is a requirement of any software. That software is called your assembler. This is just, for example, you can see that these are your mnemonics. Suppose these are your, so add, addition, for subtraction, halt, start, clear. So these assembly languages instructions are converted in the binary representation form with the help of your assembler. Assembler is a software that converts your assembly language instructions into machine level instructions. So the language which substitutes letters and symbols for the numbers in the machine level programs are called assembly language or symbolic language, that are the mnemonics. So and we use assembler for conversion of this source program that is written in your assembly language to the machine level language. So the translator program that translates an assembly code into machine code is called your assembler. So there are some advantage and disadvantage of your assembly languages. So these are some advantages of your assembly languages over machine level language. Some of them are: it is easy to understand and use in compared to your machine level instructions. It is easily understood by human as compared to your machine instructions, because it is used some statements, some instructions in the name form, some mnemonics instead of your binary digits. So it is easy to understand by human because it uses some statements as compared to your machine level instructions. So as compared to your machine level instructions, and machine level language, to develop a program in the assembly language, it takes less time as compared to your machine instructions. Because of this, debugging and troubleshoot is easy. It means you can find out errors easily as compared to your machine level instructions. And it is also your portable language. It means if you have designed a code for a machine, that is also be executed to any other machines. So it is a portable language. There are some limitations also, some disadvantage of your assembly language. Some of the disadvantage of this is Machine dependent language, because instruction set mnemonics. Machine dependent means if it is working on 32-bit systems or 64-bit systems, it is machine dependent in terms of your instruction sets. So it is machine dependent language due to that program design for one machine to another machine. Sometimes it is hard as compared to your high level language. A technical person who understands some codes, some instructions, these mnemonics, only that can understand this type of language, because this is not completely your English like language. So sometimes it is hard to understand the commands which we use, because it works on pure on your commands. For every instructions, we have a command. If you want to add two numbers also, then you have to write a add 3-4, then it will add. So due to these commands, sometimes it is hard to understand. And knowledge of hardware is also required. Then which type of systems is used. Next is your high level language. Nowadays, which you use in the machine, that is your high level language. High level languages is the upper level language. It is also called your third generation language, third generation programming language. It does consider as a high level because it is a completely English like language. Because this language comes under the category that are closer to the human language. So it is called your high level language. So this is highly understood programming language by human. For example, your C language. So high level language are basically your symbolic languages that use your English words or mathematics symbols in place of your mnemonics. Every instructions written in the high level language that are translated in the machine level languages. These high level language instructions cannot understand by the machine. So there is also a requirement of your software for conversion of high level language to the machine level language. So there is a requirement of translation. That software is called your compiler. The first high level language that was written in 1950. So those programs written in the high level language that you must require a software or a set of programs to translate that high level program into your machine level program to make it machine understandable. This software is called your compiler. This software is called your interpreter. Some high level languages use your compiler. Some high level languages use your interpreter. So the main job of this compiler and interpreter is to translate the source code of program and convert that program code into the machine understandable form. It means represent it in the binary representation form. So there is a requirement of your compiler or interpreter. So translator program that translates your instructions of high level languages into machine languages, that is called your compiler. Now this source program is converted in the machine level program with the help of your compiler. Sometimes in the interview it is frequently cast that what is the difference between compiler and interpreter? Compiler translates the program, whole program at a time, while interpreter compiles the program line by line. It converts the program line by line. This is the difference between compiler and interpreter. Interpreter, it will convert line by line, and compiler, it will convert whole program at a time. So there are some advantages, pros and cons of high-level language also. This is the interpreter. Interpreter is a type of translator for translating high-level language into machine-level language. It makes one statement of high-level language and translates into machine-level language, which is immediately executed. It is executing one by one. Interpreter. Yeah, this is the difference between interpreter and a compiler. Most frequently asked questions in the interview, or it can be in your exam also. What is the difference between interpreter and compiler? You can see that in case of compiler, whole source program is translated into your equivalent machine level program. Whole program. We are talking about the whole source program. So that the object code is obtained in the permanently saved for the future use. While in case of your interpreter, we are executing line by line. So advantage of an interpreter or compiler is that it responds fast to change the source program. And interpreters are easy to write, do not require large memory space. Because it is performing a task line by line. It means it are performing very low instruction set. Doesn't require any high space. But disadvantage is time consuming translation method, because each statement must be translated every time. This is the difference between your compiler and interpreter. Next are the advantages of your high-level languages. So high-level languages, there are many advantages of your high-level languages. First one, it is completely your English-like language, so you can understand easily. In these instructions and commands are much easier to remember by the programmer, so it is easy to learn. And its logic and structures are much easier to understand because of its nature. And debugging is easier in compared to all other languages. And a programmer takes less time to write in new programs. There are still some programs, some programming languages like Python, which are very easy to learn. R. So very less time consuming to writing a new programs in the high level language. It is also a portable language. But there are some disadvantages also in this language. High level language take more space in compared to your machine level language or assembly language, because it has your rich vocabulary as compared to your machine level language and assembly level language. So this requires more time to execute a program. It requires more time to execute a program because we are converting a English-like language to the machine level language. So this requires a lot of time for execution. So it requires a lot of time for execution in compared to your machine level and assembly language. Next is your one student's also written that he want to know about ASCII code and Unicode. So there are various types of encoding schemes that are designed for a specific purpose. Actually, everything is for understanding the instructions in the form of your machine readable form. So various type of encoding schemes were used, which you will read in your further courses in your computer architectures. One students asked me about ASCII and Unicode. So these are your encoding schemes that are designed for a specific purpose. Two of them are your ASCII, ASCII, and another one is Unicode. ASCII is your American Standard Code for Information Interchange. It is a encoding scheme which is used for representing the text in computers. For example, A, symbol A, character A text is represented with the help of any ASCII value. For letter A, we use 65. It is a coding technique. Its development was from 1960s when it was established as a standard for encoding the computers for communication purpose. So each character in the ASCII is assigned a unique code. Actually, ASCII coding technique contains your 8-bit data for representing 8-bit data. So total 256 symbols to understand this, to represent it. So each character in the ASCII is assigned a unique code or number from 0 to 127. These codes include your letters, these can be your numbers, any special characters, punctuation marks, anything. For example, capital A that is coded with 65 in ASCII, small a that is coded with 97, at the rate that is coded with 64. But ASCII has some limitations in that it only encodes characters from the English language and it does not support characters with any other language. So we require Unicode. So Unicode is a character encoding technique, character encoding standard, which you use in your Word at also, in your Word, Microsoft Office Word, that is used to represent your text from many writing symbols. You can also say that Unicode is the your superset of your ASCII values. It includes your all the ASCII characters with some additional characteristics. So it supports your all the characters needed for your writing systems, as well as your symbols, special characters, your mathematics symbols, music, other fields. It encodes everything. So one of the major advantages of Unicode is that it supports a wide range of your languages or scripts. For example, I am showing with the help of your Word. I am sharing a screen also. I have shared a screen. Is it visible? Yeah. Good. You can see that different types of symbols. Okay. This is your Unicode name. I think it is not. In the insert part, go to symbols, then more symbols. Is it visible any prompt? I think it is not visible in your system.
Yes, it is not visible, sir.
Yeah, yeah. But is it visible in my system? But uh, now is it visible? No.
We
Okay, I
can
will.
see just the blank screen.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah. But I'm telling you the steps. When you will go your insert part, okay, then click on your symbols. Now click on your more symbols. Okay. In the more symbol, you can see that there are the font. In font, there are different types of font. Then after that, you have special characters. On the right hand side, you can see different marks, and on the bottom side, you can see the character code from Unicode. Actually, it is a hex code, so it converts your all the codes. Okay, you can check from here. Okay, it is actually not visible. I will try. Okay, wait a minute.
Sir, can you check the text color?
Okay, wait. I'm I'm trying to make it visible, but I think it is take. Actually, I want to show you a screen where Unicode can be appeared, but it is showing in my system, but it is not visible to you.
Sir, can you reopen the Word file again?
Yeah, I will do that. Wait a minute.
Dear sir, can I share my screen?
Okay. Can you share, please? Yes. Open your Word document. Yeah. Now it is visible. Good. Yeah. Click on symbols and then more symbols.
We come to insert, then symbols, then
Yeah,
more symbols.
more symbols. Yeah. Then on the bottom, you can see
Yes,
that
we have fonts and currency, and here's
Unicode.
unique name and
Uh,
euro sign.
now you can see that Unicode. Here is Unicode hex, then ASCII decimal and ASCII hex on the right hand side.
Yes, Unicode and character code.
Yeah, exactly. On the there are three code on this: Unicode hex, ASCII decimal, and ASCII next hex. Click on yeah. These are 3 code. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. In the Unicode, you can see a range of codes, a range of symbols. If you click on second one, ASCII decimal, then there is a limited symbols. Yeah. Just maximize it. Maximize this window. Yeah. Now you can check. At first, Unicode hex. Yeah. Yeah. There are a lot of symbols you can use in your language with the help of your Unicode. It has a wide range of your language and scripts that allow to communicate and exchange information with the help of your Unicode. After clicking on your ASCII decimal or ASCII hex, you can say fixed number of symbols. Only these number of symbols you can use for encodings. Okay, this is your encoding. Okay, now I'm sharing another screen. Is it clear? Okay,
Yes,
now
sir.
I'm
Yes.
sharing.
Yes, we got
Okay.
it. May I stop sharing, sir?
Yeah. You stop share. Okay. Now we will discuss about. Wait a minute. I'm sharing a screen. Is it visible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Now we will discuss about operating system. It is one of the important topic. Operating system. In the further semester, you will read a complete book, a complete subject as a operating system. So operating system is a very important topic and very important subject also in your further course. And you have many examinations where you have seen your computer systems operating system questions. Can anyone tell me about what is system software? As we discussed in previous classes, software, application software, and system software.
Sir, it is instruction which perform the computer activities related to computers.
Okay. Operating system. Operating system is a system software. Actually, softwares are the set of programs that are used to perform a specific type of task or a specific task or particular task. We have categorized the softwares into two types. One was your operating system, system software, and then was your application software, and one was your utility software. But we are talking about the operating systems. So operating system is a software, a system software that acts as interface between a user and computer hardware, because a user cannot directly contact with the computer hardware. We are the user. We cannot directly contact with the computer hardware. So there is a requirement of any interface. There is a requirement of an interface between the machine and us. This software, the interaction which is used for this interaction, the interface, this software is called your operating system. So operating system is very important to work with the system, to work with the computer, to execute any type of task. Every computer systems must have at least one operating system to run the programs, to run other programs. There is not any system, there is no any type of systems which don't have any operating systems. Every system must have at least one operating system. In a system, there may be one or more operating system, but every computer systems must have at least one operating system to run the programs, to run other programs. Other programs means all application softwares like your browser, your MS Office, your games, your VLC player, movie players. To run those application programs, we require system software also. We require operating systems. To run or perform all tasks, there is a requirement of operating system. So, this is your operating system. So, operating system is a program that acts as an interface between a user, a computer, and a hardware. And the goal of the operating system, the main goal of the operating system is ease to use. It means for the user, it should be easy to work with the computer system. So this is the goal of the main goal of the operating system. Ease to use means each to solve the programs. This is the main goal of the operating system. The goal is to control, execute application all the programs, make computer systems convenient to use. In earlier days, when disk operating system, DOS command system was used, at that time, it was very difficult to work with those systems because for making a directory, making a folder, you required a command. But nowadays, we use a graphical user interface to connect with the system, to connect with the machine. We have GUI operating systems. So the goal is ease to use, ease the solving of user problems, to use the computer hardware in an efficient manner. So there is a requirement of our operating systems. This is the operating system where it exists. These are your applications, application software, your web browser, email reader, music player. This is your operating system. And this is your hardware. We work here about this. We are here. We are connecting with this user interface program with the help of operating system. Then this operating system is required to connect with the hardware. This is the place where operating system exists. Hardware part. Okay, operating system, this is the interface now between this user mode and this hardware part. This user and the hardware. This is your computer systems. So different types of computer systems were used. If you talk about the different types of computer systems, then we see that the first operating systems which were used, that was your batch operating systems. First operating systems. These were very lengthy and time-consuming operating systems because in the batch operating systems, We make a batch of similar task for similar job. We just make a batch of similar tasks. Then this batch is further transferred to the coordinator for execution. After that, this task, same type of task, same bunch of these similar type of tasks, that is executed with the help of machine. So the batch operating system was the single user operating system and single tasking operating system. Only one task was executed in the batch operating system. So to speed the same process, a job with a similar type are batched together and run as a group. If we independently execute single task one by one, that takes a lot of time. So to speed up this process, this execution, we batched a similar type of need, similar type of task together and run them as a group. So the user in the batch operating system never directly interact with the computer. So in this type of operating system, there is a requirement of a coordinator between machine and user also. So every user prepares his or her jobs on an offline device. For example, in the punch card, if you have similar type of tasks, you have stored them in a punch card. After that, you have submit this punch card to the computer operator. So there is a requirement of one more operator. That operator then transfer this job to the machine, to the operating system. So these BA batch operating system are very time consuming operating system and single user operating system. You cannot execute many tasks at the same time. You can execute only a single task at a time. If one task is executing, the other will be in the waiting state in this batch operating system. After that, one more operating system came into existence, that is your multitasking operating systems. In the multitasking operating system, as name suggests, more than one task can be executed simultaneously. At a time, you can execute more than one task, multitask. These systems are also called your time sharing operating systems because the processor time, the CPU time, that is shared among multiple users to execute their task. This is called your time sharing. Actually, time sharing operating systems, this enables people at a different terminals to use a single computer systems at the same time. If you will use terminal cell in your further courses, then you can see that the system enables different terminals to use a single computer systems at the same time. You have multiple terminals. So these was your multitasking systems. After that, multi-programming systems, more than one program executed at a time. Suppose you are working on WordPad, you are working on a PPT, PowerPoint presentation. At the same time, you can also hear music. At the same time, you can also view your pictures. your movies. In the half window, you can do some other tasks. In the half window, you can do some other tasks. There's a multi-programming operating systems. Then we have also some distributed operating systems. In the distributed operating systems, we use many processors, different processors that are located in the different machines. Why we use different processors? To provide the very fast very fast computation to its users. That is your parallel processing. We want that to execute our task in minimum time. So we require different processors to provide very fast computations to the users. And we have also some network operating systems also. These network operating systems, these runs on the server. Actually, it provides the capability to serve to manage all the data, users, security, all networking functions. Nowadays, we see use. Then one of the important operating system, that is your real-time operating system. In the real-time operating system, there is a time quantum. There is a time in which you have to respond or you have to process the inputs which is given to you. If that task is not executed within that time, then there will be a drastic change. Then there will be a drastic change in the system. So there are two types of real-time operating systems. These were your soft real-time operating systems and hard real-time operating systems. So soft real-time operating systems were those type of operating systems in which there is a flexibility of time. Not too much flexibility, but sometimes. For example, in your banking system, suppose you want to transfer your money to another bank account. If you have transferred the money and the money is not deducted from your account, or you have transferred the money and the money is deducted from your account and it is not credited in your another account, then what will you do? You will wait for some time. You can't do that. Just you have put up a gun and you just shot the banker. You will wait for some time. At least you will wait for 24 hours. Because if within 24 hours, if it is not rolled back, then you will a little bit worried about that. It will be rolled back in your account. That type of systems are called your soft real-time operating systems. Next, your hard real-time operating systems. In the hard real-time of operating systems, it is must required that you have to submit the task within a time. There is no feasibility with the time, no flexibility with the time. You have to do that within the time. For example, in the space software systems, in the military software systems, where you have to execute your task within time. If it is not executed within time, then that will be a very drastic change. For example, your military software systems, your space software systems, if you want to launch one missile to another place and there is a time delay, then what will happen? Then you will finish because you have not done within a time. These type of operating systems are called your hard real-time operating systems. So these type of operating systems are used. Nowadays, very popular operating systems which are also called this a mobile operating systems. Actually, 40% of market that is covered with mobile operating systems on the basis of in which 40% is covered with Android operating systems. Actually, these operating systems, these are especially designed to power the smartphones, your tablets, your wearable devices, your watch. For example, your Android, iOS, WatchOS, BlackBerry Web. These are your mobile operating systems, very famous operating systems, in which 40% market is covered with Android. These are the different types of operating systems which are used nowadays. We have started from the batch operating systems to the mobile operating systems. And operating systems have many tasks. It have a task. Actually, operating system performs all your tasks. Because operating system is the interface in which all the applications are executing. So there are different typical operating system functions which it performs, including your memory management, your processor management, process management, file management, other the device management, your security purpose, your net for your networking, for your storage, secondary storage, input output. For every task, there is a requirement of your operating systems. For example, first one is your first lesson of the program creation. That's your process management. What is the difference between program and process? A program is your passive entity. Initially, when you stored the a set of instructions into the machine, into the storage, that is called your program. When it starts execution, when you have provided some resources, some CPU time to that program, it starts execution, then it is called your process. So from creating a process to executing that process and to delete that process, we require operating system. So process management, it helps the operating system to create the process, to execute that process. If there is a requirement of any input output, it also deals with that. If the process is successfully executed, then to abort that process, then also there is a requirement of process management. If you want to delete that process, then there is a requirement of operating systems. So it provides your mechanism for synchronization and communication among the process. Either we have to communicate with process, within process, either the process may be your cooperative or independent process. If you want to create a process, successful execution of that process, if there is a requirement of any input output operations, there is a requirement of any printers, if you want to allocate any resource to that process, so there is a requirement of our operating system. So process management, program management, that is very important task that is executed by our operating systems. That is one of the important tasks that's executed by our machine. Another is your memory management. Memory management. If you want to allocate a memory to a program, to a process, or if you have allocated that memory to the program, and after that you want to deallocate memory from that space, deallocation of memory space of the program. After the successful execution, so there is a requirement of operating system. This is the one of the other function, another function of your memory management or file management. All file related activities such as your organization, your storage, your naming. To protect that files, it also requires your operating systems. If you want to track all the devices, all the input output devices connected with that, to want to track this, to want to perform the allocate and deallocation of that device, then also there is a requirement of operating systems. If you want to connect any secondary storage, secondary hard disk, cache storage, instructions and data must be stored in the primary storage, but that will be stored in the secondary storage. So there is a need of swapping from secondary storage into primary storage. So this secondary storage management, that is also the function of your operating systems. Or for security purpose, to protect the data and information of your computer systems against your malware threats or any unauthorized access. There is also a requirement. This is one of the tasks of your operating systems. So all the working, either that is related to your process, your memory, that is related to your file, your device, there is a requirement of an input output. Second is storage, either it is related to your security. So these are your function of your operating systems. If you want to communicate, communication, coordination of compilers, interpreters, and any other software resources, there is also a requirement of your operating systems. So there are these services which are provided by the operating systems. So these are the advantages of your operating systems. Actually, it allows you to hide details of the hardware. It just creates abstractions. You don't know about the hardware. You have just a graphical user interface, which is very easy to use. Actually, it offers an environment in which a user may execute programs and applications. The operating systems, it makes sure that the computer system is convenient to use for you or not. So there are many advantages of operating systems. But there are some disadvantages also. You have seen that. If there is any issue occurs in your operating systems, if operating systems fails, then you may lose all the contents, all the data which you have been stored in your system. If there is a failure in the operating system, then you will lose all the data which have been stored in your systems if it is completely failed. And it is also quite expensive for small organizations, which adds burden on them, because you have to pay some cost for the operating systems. And these are some disadvantages of the operating systems. Why operating system is important? Operating system is important to understand how correctly used when writing user applications. Mainly it is used for the goal of the operating systems, the large and complex systems that have high economic impact. So operating systems, as we discussed earlier, this is very important in every aspects of your machines to properly operate the machine for a proper graphical user interface for the user. There is a requirement of your operating system. This is generally computer. This is not related to you. This is the view of your hierarchical view of your operating system type. This is the computer hardware part in the innermost part. Then after that, there is the operating system. Then there are the applications in the outermost part. Here is the user, where we exist. We connect with the operating system with some application software, some applications. After that, the operating system connect with the hardware. This is structure. This is not for you. Okay. And this is okay. That is done. Okay. Unix, that is not in your syllabus also. Okay. Okay, we have completely discussed about the operating system and the programming languages and operating system task, goal, and advantage, disadvantages. Okay. Is there any questions regarding this? Yes, yes. Ask me.
Thank you, sir, for the presentation. I just have a question regarding the example of assembly language and high local language, HLL language examples. Which are the example of these languages?
Okay, high level languages. Okay.
High level languages. The machine language example is binary language. Is, if I am not wrong, it is 0 and 1. And the example of what are the example of the other two languages?
Okay. Your high level languages like as your C, C++, Java. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All are these your high level languages. Your Ada, COBOL, Lisp. Okay. These are your high level languages which you use in English like language, all the English like languages which are. But your assembly languages, these are used by your macro like your 8085. You have heard about 8085 processor? 8085,
Unfortunately, not.
x86.
No.
Okay, you will learn in further courses. Assembly codes, your mnemonics. Okay, assembly code, for example, you have to add suppose two numbers. You use a symbol ADD, add, that is used for addition, and two operands A and B to store the variable A and to store the variable B. Then you have put two value store A comma 3, then store str B comma 3. This is your assembly language, assembly code. This is only, there is only language, assembly language which use mnemonics. Okay, in our microprocessor 8085 we use this.
Yes.
There is no classification like this. C, C++ named as this is the assembly language.
Yes. Are the HTML in CSS are there languages? They are high level languages, or they are also, or they are
high level languages?
not languages?
Which one?
HTML and HTML, JavaScript, PHP.
And these are your high level languages, scripting languages, mainly designed for scripting. These are high level languages.
Okay.
These are mainly designed for your scripting, Java scripting. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? Can anyone tell me which you want to discuss in your further class, in your next class? So kindly share some topics, okay, which you want to discuss in your next class. We will discuss on this apart from your syllabus. Okay. Okay. Kindly share in the group. We will discuss those topics.
Okay, sir. We will discuss about these problems and we will select one of them and we will share or coordinate with you.
Okay. Which you want to discuss anything related to the computer. Okay, we will discuss on this. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay. If you have any questions, otherwise you may leave.
No, sir, from my side. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
Okay, you too. A good day to you all. Yeah, I will share the PowerPoint in the group. Okay, I will share it.